Hi there, and welcome back to the Huddle. Today I'm with Denstone Group CEO and Gaming America contributor Oliver Lovat. How are you today,
I'm
Oliver?
great. It's great to be back at G2E. It's my favorite week of the year. And so, not just because the industry is fascinating and everybody showcases their activities, but I've got so many friends from all over the world who come to town. So it's so much fun.
Absolutely. How do you kind of spend your time at the conference, and what memorable moments do you have as it celebrates its 25th anniversary?
So this is my 13th year at G2E, although COVID got in the way. The first time I came to the conference in 2012, I did not know a single other person in this entire building. I was invited to speak on a panel based on my MBA research, which I delivered a speech and a presentation, which was remarkably well attended. But I wasn't in the gaming industry. I knew nothing about the gaming industry, plenty about real estate development. What's happened is over the subsequent 10 years that I've been living here and 5 years before, I've seen such remarkable change. And again, being on a panel this year as a moderator, talking about the changes in non-gaming amenities with the guys from Live Nation and Angie Dobney and John Ratska. These guys are heavyweights in our industry now, talking about the future. It's really fascinating. What the biggest change is, though, and I'll tell you this now, again, talking about the panel and my journey here. When I first came to G2E and G2E throughout the early 2000s or 2010s, it was a lot of fun, right? But not necessarily all the right fun. There was lots of semi-naked ladies. There was lots of female dealers. There was lots of gaming-related stuff. Like the year, for example, Avatar was launched. They had huge big blue avatars and Game of Thrones. This is a much more professional conference in 2025 than it was in 2015 and before. I think kudos to the organizers for realizing that our industry, yes, it's fun, and there's the dealer championships is great, but that's having fun in an appropriate way. This place could be very intimidating. But I think, thanks to the Global Gaming Awards, the professionalization of the industry, the change in leadership of running the conference, it's a really valuable and interesting educational experience for those that attend, and a great sales platform for those people who've come to sell their wares.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And you're kind of a Las Vegas expert as well, and I was kind of hoping you could just talk to us about what you believe is factoring into the recent drop in tourism the city has experienced. And how, even how the Strip might be already counteracting that as well.
Yeah, so a couple of it feels like the buzzword of the year is several things may be true at the same time, and that's kind of where I feel on it. Yeah, I do think there's something about Las Vegas which is much more than just a deal, and I wrote about that in my column for Gambling Insider. Has Las Vegas broken its promise? I think there's an emotional transaction that takes place when Las Vegas and the customers are engaged, and that gaming is ultimately an emotional experience. Coming to stay in our hotels is an emotional experience as well. If you just make it about price and you just make it about getting something and transacting, it's all about the deal. It's all about the transaction. Las Vegas was never all about the transaction. Gambling is never all about the transaction in a casino. I mean, certainly online it's a different experience, but in a casino environment, we're selling much more than just a transaction. So what you've seen is two things. Tourism has come down, and I think that's true everywhere. I don't think that's, I spent a lot of time in London this summer. Tourism was down. People were telling me it was. Certainly in New York and other markets as well, tourism was down. Las Vegas is more expensive. It is not as expensive as comparable markets for the same product. I will tell you, if you go to New York and try and stay in a hotel and try and see something at the same price as the Wynn or the Venetian or the Fontainebleau, you won't get anywhere near it. Mm-hmm. Every other market is far more expensive. So are we more expensive than we were? Yes. Is it still good value? In a lot of places, it is. Where I think there has been a negative reaction to what has gone on is within the lower half of the market. There's no way you can expect a customer staying at a lower or a perceived lower value property paying the same as somebody staying at an upper property. And that's the same in every market. If you go and stay in the Dorchester, your Diet Coke will cost you an awful lot more than if you're going to stay at the Yotel, right? Where it's the entire thing's more or less, automated.
Mhm.
And it's the same here. If you're paying $49 for a room, you can't expect somebody to pay $200 for a meal. Or that's the reality of it. So I think those operators, particularly downtown and some of the real value-driven properties that have sought to give the customers what they want, have had a very good time. I mean, numbers downtown, Las Vegas are up. Again, even when visitation is down, gaming revenues are up. I also think, and I'll go back to this G2E as well, there's a trend happening, and I'm happy to talk to you guys about it, which you start to see downtown and on the strip. But what I'm seeing at this conference is making me think, in terms of big picture, what's next?
Well, so I mean, what do you believe is next for Las Vegas? Like, is it a counteraction to the tourism, or do you think it's even more amenities to try to just bring more people in? Like, what have you learned from the conference so far that's kind of factoring in?
I think the data within the LVCVA report from this year compared to last year, and again, historic years as well, points to the fact that Las Vegas is getting younger. Whether that be the actual customers are coming who are 21 to 30, who had never been before, or that the older customers, the retirees, the golden generation, the boomers, are out. And I think within Las Vegas, to a large extent, there's a lot less boomers than there are Gen Z millennials. So in that respect, the offer changes and the experience that we are trying to create for our customers changes because they are the customers. Looking around the casino floor, the show floor and the casino floor, whether that be downtown or here at the Venetian or at the Wynn, I'm seeing a lot more electronic table games. I'm seeing a lot more screens. I'm seeing a lot more interfaces that are approachable. Yes, people want to play table games, but there's a value, there's a cost associated to playing table games. Your minimum bet's now $10, $15, $20 on a game. That is not expensive. That is not affordable or too expensive for so many of the younger customers, but you can still play $3 blackjack, $3 craps, albeit you're putting your bet on yourself via digital screen rather than having a table which has got 4 dealers on it getting paid. So I'm seeing, and that's far more approachable and engaging for people that are used to betting and engaging on their cell phones, that digital screen. So I look around the floor and I see a younger customer base now that the manufacturers are looking to. We're looking at cashless. We're looking at all kinds of ways to make it easy and integrate, cell phone points as with the casino floor, booking, hotel experiences, bars, nightclubs, cool stuff.
And how do you kind of foresee all these affecting the balance between strip hotels and locals casinos, such as stations or Boyd gaming properties?
Yeah. So I think, I was talking to somebody about this as well. If you look at the Wynn and the Venetian, you see 2 high-end properties, but they're very different businesses, run very different and very for different ways. Likewise, if you look at a strip casino or a regional casino or a locals casino or a tribal casino, in many ways they're different. Likewise, gaming on a cell phone is very different from gaming in a casino. Within the gambling world or the gaming world, we've got all these different experiences for all these different customers. The wonderful thing about Las Vegas in its history and its evolution was a lot of things happened here first. So when we talk about local casinos and tribal casinos, a lot of them originated in this market. So where you have, for example, Sam's Town from, in the 1970s and the Fremont Street guys who were catering for locals back in the 60s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, you see the likes of Station with Durango and Red Rock, which are magnificent properties, much like some of the tribal stuff that you're seeing, which is more located to major population centers, particularly in Northern California and Southern California, and across the US, particularly on the East Coast. There's a lot from here that is going to that market. It's less about big ticket hospitality stays, much more about engagement level hospitality on a local level. the key critical point to those casinos, which is almost something we've lost a little bit on the big tickets, is about loyalty, right? Those businesses do not survive if the customers come once. Those businesses flourish if customers come regularly and repeatedly, not just when they want to have a big gamble night out, but if they want to have a dinner on a Tuesday night. And that's something that, Boyd did very, very well historically. It's something Station have done very, very well historically. And I think also on the Strip, that was a consistent message, I think, up until the last 5 or 6 years post-COVID, when, the business models tightened somewhat and changed the customer demographics.
Yeah, no, as a Las Vegas resident myself, that's certainly everything that I've noticed also, and, I thank you for taking the time with us today, and, certainly look forward to all your future work with Gaming America and Gambling Inside.
Thank you. I'm currently working on a piece which you should get not on the next edition, but the one afterwards, which I think is really interesting. Might also, stir a couple of feathers. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that one.
Well, we can't wait to see it. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Oliver.